Hello! It's Aimee, and welcome to my 5 years of April challenge. I thought last month I went overboard, but this month was much worse. Most of my previous themes were very doodle heavy, so it only made sense that this year's theme would be the same. We won't talk about my first theme, but as I was going through my previous cover pages, I forgot that one of the themes I did was Animal Crossing, and I just had to go all out. The plants could easily be added in for decor, and I tried to add a small bit of details like the phone and the rain to have all of the themes combined. The part I struggled the most on with this cover page was perspective. I rarely do environmental drawings, and why I decided this month was the day to practice beats me. Something that was new for me as well was adding an extra weight to my line work, and now I'm thinking, why haven't I done this before? I started off by coloring in the wallpaper using the similar color scheme from last year's theme. I lightly lined the pattern first using pink, since it's the lighter color, while also making sure to widen the pattern the closer it gets towards me. Coloring in the walls first helped with seeing the perspective shine through because I wasn't very confident on how it would turn out in the end. That's also the reason why I used colored pencils for it, so that the mistakes would be less noticeable. I probably could have went darker, but wanted to wait till the rest of the page was colored first. Now onto the rest of the background. I first colored in the frame for the picture I was going to put in. I had this sticker that I thought would fit the theme well, so I cut out only what I needed and placed it down in the frame. Using an X-Acto knife, I removed the excess areas that were covering the plant and the frame. For the furniture, I looked at a lot of references from the game, including the phone and the plants. This is where colored pencils really shined for the wooden furniture because I could easily add in the wood grain texture to it. The only downside to it was that it took forever to finish the background. So here is a little time lapse of me filling in all of the doodles. My favorite Animal Crossing character is Fauna. She is just so sweet and cute, and I think that's what drew her to me the most. The outfit she has on in my cover page is actually the older version, I believe, because in New Horizon, she has a different outfit on. So for those who recognize it from New Leaf, shout out. I struggled a lot with her colors because I had to keep in mind the flooring colors, which I knew was going to be dark, and I didn't want it to wash her out. I have made the mistake of coloring her in too dark before as well, so I was trying my best to avoid that while also trying to stay true to her character design. I thought it would be clever to have April be in a bubble chat text because Fauna is talking on the phone, and I tried lettering in as close to the font used in Animal Crossing as possible. As much as my least favorite theme of all time was my first April theme, I couldn't just ignore it. I thought of ways on how I could incorporate it into the theme, and the best way was to make the window have water droplets on it. I'm not very confident in rain droplets or bubbles, so I looked up a lot of references to help me make them look somewhat decent. I used my white gel pen to make the streaks on the window to start off. While the gel pen was drying, I went ahead and colored in the flooring of the room. I used my Tombow brush pen for this because 1, I wanted to save some time, and 2, it would allow for a darker pigment compared to the rest of the theme. The layering of the colors also wasn't a big deal, and I think it actually added to the wooden texture for the flooring. For the final touches, I colored in the shading around the rain droplets to give it somewhat of a realistic effect. Part of me wanted to go back and make the wallpaper darker, but this cover page took long enough and I knew I had a lot more work ahead of me, so I moved on to the next spread, which is my calendar and my habit tracker. I went straight in with colored pencils again and colored in the plants, taking my time with every leaf and add any extra details. I did make sure to add in some plants that were specifically from the game, but some of the plants were from my other themes as well. I was happy with seeing how much progress I made compared to my other drawings, and this is why I love this challenge so much. I do encourage you to look back at your own work from time to time because it helped me gain some confidence in my own work when I'm feeling down. Same with the cover page. I used a sticker to fill in the picture frame and finished off the rest of the spread by coloring in the flooring and the books. Next up are my weekly spreads. As much as I loved how my cover page and calendar spread turned out, I was quite over using colored pencils. They just took way too long, and I was already like 5 to 6 hours plus into making this theme. So for the weeklies, I gave in and used my Tombows to finish it up. This spread was a nice break because it was less doodle heavy in comparison to the rest of the theme. The theme ideas for each weekly probably wouldn't make much sense unless you've played Animal Crossing, so this is for the fans. The first spread, I thought of the museum and was originally going to color in the background, but because it was already a simple layout, I decided to be a bit extra and used pretty paper to cover it up. I traced over the frames using a light board to accurately be able to cut off the excess paper easily. Some of the light board wouldn't shine through because of the stitching, so I had to guess a little bit towards the middle of the spread. For every cutout I did, I made sure to double check if it looked good before continuing on to the next cutout. I was surprised that it worked out as well as it did. I used glue tape to paste down the paper and tweezers to help me guide it perfectly along the outlines. It was nerve-wracking because one slip up would have made everything else wonky. For the top area, I forgot to mention what it was for. I have my mini calendar and menu on the left side, and on the right, my content planning. I divided it into 3 sections: tasks and scheduling for Instagram and YouTube. I finally felt ahead of schedule for once this year and had the motivation to post on Instagram again. Since the pretty paper covered up the plaques I drew underneath the frames, I went ahead and used scrap paper to make them again to paste on top. I'm happy I did it this way because I wasn't thrilled with how it turned out the first time, so this was a huge upgrade. What I thought was going to be quick and easy turned out to be a lot longer than anticipated, but it was well worth it. I plan on using the bottom portion of my weeklies for my personal tasks and my memory spread. Moving on to the next weekly, we have the new update of Animal Crossing included for this theme. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I thought it was a nice touch to include the hotel added on the pier. Granted, this isn't the hotel, but it was in front of the hotel, and I figured these drawings were the easiest way to make them into a functional spread. I guess it's a nice Easter egg in a way. In the end, it worked out for me because it took no time at all to finish this weekly. Next up is a theme that kind of relates to a portion of my island. I sketched out an idea for a fruit tree theme, and I have a truck near an orchard that I built and thought it would be a perfect fit to include. It made it very easy to come up with an idea on how to make it a functional spread. I remember seeing these cute cardboard boxes on someone's island one time, and I had to get my hands on them to include for my orchard. The side box was going to be for the menu header, and then I made sure to lightly color in the design for the rest of the boxes so that I could write in my menu for the week and still be able to see what I wrote. Although part of me doesn't want to because I fear it would ruin the work I did, but I had to keep my spreads functional. Off camera, I lightly filled in the background with colored pencil and then moved on to the final weekly spread. I had to be a bit more creative on how to make this theme more functional. The tent was perfect because it already had 3 divided sections to it, but then I had to think of something that would match that. The bonfire was the next best bet because it could make a nice section to write on, but I just had to lightly color in the middle area for the menu so that it would be functional. And bonfires make smoke, so that's why I made the calendar into a smoke cloud. For a still functional yet cute doodle, I think it worked out. Everything was finished on the drawing side of things, but the bottom areas of the spreads were still a bit too bland for me. Luckily, last year I bought these really cute designs from a fellow bujoer, Bulletjournal, who makes very cute stickers and art on her second page, Cute Art de Maria, that fit the theme perfectly. I'll make sure to link her pages in the description box so you can check out her stuff for yourself. I tried my best to fit the stickers as closely to each theme as possible. Like Brewster is a part of the museum now, so it felt fitting to include him there, but some of the stickers I had to wing it a little. I wanted to use up the whole sticker sheet, so I filled in the pages as much as I could while also trying to keep them even. Finally, here is the complete flip through of my April theme of 2026. I really don't think I knew what I got myself into until after I started coloring in my spreads. But hey, for the result, it was worth it. I loved how this theme turned out, and am so happy that I had the opportunity to redo my Animal Crossing theme. Sorry, a lot of me was about geeking out on Animal Crossing, but it's such a cute theme, how can I not? If there are any Animal Crossing fans out there, I hope I did it justice, and if you're not a fan or have never played, I hope there are some ideas that you can take away from it. All I know is that I'm excited for May's theme because it's a monochromatic theme, and it will be a nice break from the amount of coloring I did from this theme. Please make sure to check out Cute de Maria's page for her stickers and other art she makes. They are really super cute. Also, let me know in the comments who your favorite character is in Animal Crossing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please take care of yourself, and bye for now.